Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 24th of December. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director of Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. This week we have AGL, Treasury Wine Estate, Nitro Software, Piedmont Lithium and Gable. So if you have a request, send it through. Make sure you've signed up to our free newsletter. If you want the best ideas though, you need to subscribe to the Dynamic Investor. However, if you do enjoy these videos, we'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review on Facebook and Google. Our core business is portfolio management, so if you like the idea of me picking up the phone and letting you know if you need to be buying or selling something, then please let me know and I can explain in further detail how that works. And of course, any advice here is general only. So, daily chart of AGL. Now, we did cover this back as recently as August around here, where I suggested that the risk was to the downside. And look, this thing just continues to trend lower. I mean, even the last few days looks particularly negative, so we've had a couple of really big down days here on volume, and even yesterday it tried to rally and then was sold off into the close. So continues to look negative. I mean, if we move to if we move more to a monthly chart, we could see that this thing's been downtrending for a number of years now, more than halving in value. Look, there might be some support here near $12, just going back, almost sort of 10-15 years ago. There was a bit of a level there near $12, so maybe it finds support, but I think it'll need to establish some sort of base first. I don't see it going up in a hurry, even if it does find support around these levels. Okay, Treasury Wine Estate. So just looking at sort of the progress from the last year, we could see that any sorts of rallies tend to get sold into, and it's made no progress. Obviously, there's been a lot happening with China, and there's a lot of sort of negative news out there. But yeah, look, it still looks very still looks negative. I mean, the down days are still quite vicious. Every time it gets sold off, it does come back quite sharply. And if I just have a look at most recent price action, I mean, it's tried to bounce here, but we could see it sort of rounding off. So again, it's starting to lose a bit of steam. So I think for Treasury Wine, the risk is still to the downside on this one. Okay, Nitro Software. So, up until November, it'd been trending quite well. Now, for me, the danger sign was around here. So where the pullbacks have been fairly shallow, we got a sharper pullback here, rallied quite strongly, and then we had this massive rejection day here. So instead of kicking to a new high, it was sold down, and it even followed through the next day if you're still unsure as to whether that meant anything. 2 massive days down in a row here, that was the sell signal. So it's struggled ever since. The movement up here still doesn't look very convincing, so it's just sort of meandering higher. And in terms of a buy, you've got to look at sort of this will offer resistance, this is support, smack bang in the middle. So as a buy, the risk reward isn't very good here. You need to either see it push to a new high or at least come back towards support and get going again. So you've got a nicer risk reward. Up here, it's not a good area to be buying. Okay, Piedmont Lithium. This one looks very interesting. So we've had sort of this massive rally here out of nowhere on volume. So it's gone from sort of sub 10 cent levels to around 60-65 cents very quickly. Obviously, it's come back, but we could see that it's been on lower volumes, which is good. And then what it's done is it's sort of bounced from there, drifted back. So we could see that this sell down isn't quite as sharp as that, so that's an encouraging sign. And then it's popped up yesterday, strong close, strong volume. So yeah, look, it looks like this sort of higher low and that movement up yesterday is a buy signal. Looks like this one's ready to head higher. And ultimately, if it can break this high in November and just give us a higher high, then that makes it even more bullish. So I think this one's looking pretty good. Okay, finally Sezzle. So we've seen it come back here, and in the last couple of weeks it's retested that September low, and then it's bounced quite strongly. So we've had this sort of solid day up here, and the volume was pretty good. And then it followed through by gapping up and closing on its high. So these couple of days were pretty bullish. And then in the last few days, instead of pulling back deeply, it's just basically traded sideways. It stayed above this particular day's range here, so that's good. And even yesterday was a good close. So this actually looks quite encouraging. Even if we sort of do a bit of a downtrend line here, we could see that it's already broken that and is holding above it. I think the next major sign would be this high from early December. So if we can at least push beyond that high and put in a higher high, then that would be even better. So looks like that downtrend's broken. Breaking the December high would be even more of a positive sign. Okay, well that's all for this week. Send in your requests. The next video will be in early January, but send them through anyway, and we'll return then.